Alright, so this tune's at 142 BPM. First thing we got is a 909 kick. Now, I've actually synthesized this kick. This has a few advantages. For one, we're able to tune it pretty well. Like if you listen, if I pitch it up. You can hear it fits with the bass line pretty nice, so that's one advantage. The other thing is that you can build the kick that you want and the kick that you need. You know, you want this 909 kick, but you also still want it to be like pretty smacking in a way that maybe a 909 straight out of a drum machine isn't always, right? Like those can be a bit warmer, a bit more like boofy, right? This allows you to kind of create more of that like click. So what we're doing here is we have a sine wave. Here's what it sounds like just straight out of that. Right, so it's that, and then we have this filter here, which has a soft shaper. Light, but it's just adding a little bit of high pass. You'll be able to hear the difference between this more when we add the next thing, which is the pitch envelope. And so this is what's creating the kick. Basically, you have this two-tier pitch envelope, and by having it start there and then kind of like go down again, that's how you get the sound. Because if you get rid of the attack, right, you can't really do much of a kick. This second layer here is where you really get like the smack. And this is the thing that we were trying to get out of this kick, right? And now you can really hear the difference without the filter. It's still a pretty good kick without the filter. It's a bit like good trance kick, but this gives it like more attack. We've then just cut a bit of sub out of this, and then we're converting it to mono. I've got the rest of our drums. So we got some 909 stuff still, you know, nice open hi-hat. Clap. And then this super wide ride. So you can hear this really loud in the whole mix. And then it sits right up there on top. So the way we're doing this is it's a pretty loud ride. And then I'm using this delay. I've got, what it's happening is the left and right here on separate times. And then I've got the left just all the way down and the right up to there. So we're essentially creating a Haas effect. And then I have really low feedback, try wet all the way up, and then no filter. And yeah, it just spreads the ride. It's kind of interesting though, because if we get rid of that, it almost gets buried, but then you add this, and all of a sudden it fits much better. We've got an auto pan to make it bounce off the kick, and then a high pass filter, and then we have some loops. Just standard fare, a bit of auto pan, shaper kind of thing, and then high pass. I've noticed Kettama uses these old like house loops a lot. Like if I take this off, right? It's like very kind of like 90s housey, especially this one too. But then you speed it up. It's almost like hard groove techno or something like that. There's also this. So this is more operator percussion. What it is, it's really simple. It's just white noise. And then a high pass filter. That's it. And then you just give it a really short envelope. And this is just a hi-hat. If I turn off the stabs, you can hear this adds a lot of swing to the overall drums. And then the last drum layer we got is just a break beat. Amen break. This is one of mine from one of my sample packs. I've just high passed it and then auto pan. Yeah, the auto pan on pretty much every drum layer is really important to get it bouncing off the kick. It's an important part of the sound. Then we've got our synths, which starts actually with a vocal. So I've got this little vocal stab here. Right, I've just taken that little piece. And then it's happening on the 16th note here. I noticed this in Fly Away XTC. So if you hear it with the drums, it's like, there's a lot of bounce there. And then this has just got a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb, and then an auto pan to make this also kind of, you can hear it gives it more groove bouncing off the kick. Then we got our bass line. So this might seem like a really complicated bass line. This is the bass line from Fly Away. It's really simple. It's in G sharp minor. We're literally just going root, third, fifth, third, ninth, seventh. It's like kind of like a very insular scale, you know. It's kind of like those trance scales that people use where it kind of goes down and up and down and up like this and kind of resolves. Think about it like call and response, like you're doing dun 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 dun, right? And that's kind of like the motif for the bass line. Now, for the sound here, it actually starts with the sub bass. I noticed when I was trying to sort of engineer this that, yeah, the prevailing sound here is the donk. And we'll get to that, but he definitely has got a sub going on because it's just, you can't get this much low end out of that donk to where it's really going to get through the mix like that. So what we're doing here is it's operator. I've got a square wave. You can see I've got the envelope like this. So this is very important. I spent a lot of time dialing this in with the note length to get it like the right groove with the kick. Right, the note length is very important for this bass line. So playing around with this here where you take the initial up and then use the attack to set the length is really good. We got a low pass filter with just a punchy envelope. And then, yeah, just side chaining and then subcutting. And then for the donk bass, so yeah, this is that. What it is, the way you make this kind of a bass is you basically have sine waves doing FM, and then you have one an octave up, and then you use the envelope. You can see this has a much shorter envelope than the other one. And that's how you get that sort of donk sound. And then we're using this one. See, it adds a bit of click, but I've dialed it down. Then I've just got a little bit of soft shaper. You can see I'm blending it. I've got a high pass, and then we're side chaining, and that's the bass line. Then we got the chord stabs. So what we're doing here is it starts with these stabs. Let me turn off all the group effects and then I'll go and turn those on at the end. So it starts here. So we've got these complex sort of like 7th and 9th chords. It just goes, this is just the same chord, down 5 semitones, really simple. And then over here, you can probably hear it's the same chords, I've just moved some of the notes around different octaves. So it starts with that. This is this instrument rack here. It's got 3 wavetables. I got this one, and this one. So what these are is they're all just super saws. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of saw waves with a ton of unison. But you can see these are all at different octaves. And that's essentially what's creating the sound. You put these all together and you get this giant thing. The other thing that's cool is because you're using different wavetables, you can have different unison modes. So like the high one, you can keep a lot of definition still. And then get the nice classic unison on the low end. So what's happening here is he's taking these and then layering it with audio stabs. So then we got like these. You can see this one I cut a lot of frequencies out. But we're using these audio stabs. They all come together like this. We're layering that with the MIDI stab. And see, it doesn't even always sound like it's gonna work, and then you put it together and it just like perfectly fits. And then at the end, these just go down an octave, all the audio stabs. So it's kind of like layering together synth chords with the audio stabs from the old school and creating something new. Then on the group, what we're doing is we got a little bit of delay, quite a bit of reverb. The reverb is important. You want this to be big, and it helps make it fill up the spectrum. We got a bit of OTT. Subtle, but it's just giving a little bit more top end and like energy. You can see I brought the time up, so you're not really getting that like crazy OTT compression. I've got a side chain, and then we're just cutting out the low end and then also boosting the highs a little bit. And then the last thing down here is the string. So it's kind of playing a counter melody to the chords, as you can hear. So what's going on there is, yeah, we're just kind of walking down the scale that the chords are already in, and then I've got this wavetable patch. We're using the sub oscillator, not as a sub, more just like as like an extra sine wave, so to speak. And then I've got this transformations wavetable. You see I've kind of created a bandpass filter here using the low pass and the high pass. We've got a bunch of different modulations. So the sound kind of slowly morphs over time, as you can see with these LFOs and envelopes. I've got a bit of classic unison, some reverb, sidechain, cutting out the lows and boosting the highs a tiny bit. And there we are. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Check out this sample pack at the top of the description on my website. Don't miss out while it's available. Definitely check out my new subscription, ES Pro, as well to get access to this and a ton of other resources. Literally everything I've ever released under one roof. Thanks for the support, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.